Welcome everyone back to the Digital Street Podcast, where we speak about emerging tech, Web3 and AI. So last podcast we didn't really go over our personal profiles and what each of us do personally in our personal lives. So I'll quickly go over my profile as well as Sadra, and then we'll get straight into it. So I'm a student at DC during college for computer systems, which I'm not really into, as you could probably tell from the last podcast. And my main thing is I work on a digital marketing agency with my brother, and I'm just working on scaling that rapidly this year. And Sadra could touch on more some stuff about him.
Sure, yeah. So I'm also a student. I go to university, Ontario Tech University here. I'm pursuing a bachelor's in information technology and networking. Other than that, I have big aspirations to keep playing soccer and play soccer at the highest level I can. Other than that, in the tech side, I'm really interested in general on how NFTs work, crypto, the blockchain, and more recently, because of the chat GPT and like AI burst into popularity, I've also gotten like more of an interest into learning AI as well.
Definitely. I mean, you could look forward to Sadra and I building some potential AI projects for podcasts and then going over those. That would be
True.
really cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we our main purpose of this podcast is learning about new topics and then sharing those new insights with you guys from a perspective of from a perspective of like teenagers as well as early 20s. Yeah, so yeah, get straight into it. Well, last podcast I was a bit too in the flow and too natural, so I apologize for that. And you could expect more deeper and well thought out insights going forward. But yeah, we prefer speaking on the natural side as we see you guys as our friends in our community, but we also want to keep it educated and
Thanks.
provide you insights that you don't hear anywhere else.
We'll find
But
like
yeah,
a we'll find like a balance between being professional and insightful and while keeping our flow as well.
exactly. Yeah. So I'll quickly start by going over this event that I recently went to, which was an MFM, My First Million in-person event, which happened in Vancouver, Canada. And it was a really good experience. It was my first time traveling alone, as well as going to, I guess, a pretty valuable business event. And it was really cool. There were people in the crowd with businesses that were making over 50 million and in revenue, as well as like people with net worths of over $1 billion, which was really cool to be in a room with multiple people who have net worth and success at that level rather than just a single person. And it was really cool. The entire atmosphere was really high tier, and I aspire to get to the level of Andrew Wilkinson, who was one of the presenters. And yeah, it was a really good experience. I learned that use the simplest businesses can get you really far. And what's most important is just acting on whatever one path that you think you should be taking at this time. Because for young people, we have so many options, especially if you're in university and if you're smart. There are loads of options that and routes that you could take. The difficult thing for us is to narrow down on one path and just stick to it for decades. So that's one big takeaway that I had, as well as being a spectator of an event like that in the crowd isn't that valuable, to be honest. Like the sponsors
Interesting.
and the VIPs of the event got to speak with the presenters, and they were able to build relationships better than most people that were sitting in the crowd because they sponsored the event. And that was one big takeaway as well, that if I want to build connections with people that are this successful, I need to be putting my money into building connections with them. Like one of the speakers was also saying how he wanted to become friends with Andrew Huberman, who is a really successful researcher, and he's also a podcaster. He runs the Huberman Lab podcast, and you've probably seen his clips all over TikTok and Instagram. And he basically hosted an event for Andrew Huberman to speak at a university in British Columbia, and he invested or put down 30K for that event, and through that he was able to build a connection with Andrew Huberman.
Do you think
So
like the people that got VIP access, like that were able to actually talk to them, maybe it's because, like you said, they were sponsors, right?
yeah,
So maybe like building a reputable brand that
mm,
allows you to get to that level where those guys are like, hey man, we trust this guy, he knows what he's doing. So it would be more efficient for them to maybe talk to those guys. Do you think that's what they
yeah,
were thinking?
yeah, 100%. It's just more valuable for them to be able to speak to someone that's actually
Yeah,
doing something, and it could benefit them too. Like we as people in the crowd were able to speak to the presenters, but we're not going to get invited to dinner with them. It's really difficult for us to get invited to
yeah,
dinner with them. Yeah, that was my main takeaway, that it's cool to go to events like this, but the main thing is to like put your head down, work hard, and once you become successful, you'll be able to build
I
connection
see.
with these type of people.
Do you feel like you were in a room where you were like the first reaction you got was like, okay, I definitely belong here. Like this is where like everyone in the room has the same ideologies as me. Like, did you get that kind of vibe from it, or
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe, but I also got the vibe that I'm just early on in my process and I need to gain the respect of these people
true?
and get to their level to be able to build connections with them.
Would you ever attend another event by My First Million?
That was like a big realization I had, that in 1 or 2 years I want to be hosting an event for these people
I see.
so that I would get more return on the event, and it would just be a much better experience. Like I would still be 21 or 22 at that point, but with the agency, I definitely think we could get there within 1 or 2 years to be able to sponsor an event like this.
I see. So that kind of like brought you motivation. Is like, this is definitely
Yeah,
something I want to do.
yeah, 100%. Because
Nice.
like one of the main speakers, there were three main speakers, and one of them, he started an agency at 19, and by taking uh, a route of an investor, so agency businesses, they have a lot of cash flow, and with all of the cash flow that he made, he started learning about how Warren Buffett got to where he is, which was through value investing as well as acquiring businesses. So he started to acquire businesses and and build those businesses to become more successful. And through that, he acquired hundreds of millions of dollars. Now he, he's just on his way to Warren Buffett status by taking the Warren Buffett route. So my kind of takeaway was also to not just take the same route as all agency owners, because believe it or not, some agency owners in this business, like they after 20 years, they could still be only at $2 million a year of revenue. But only the ones that take a different route, a unique route, and they also work a lot harder and actually grow the business, they're able to get to the level of that speaker.
So essentially, just working hard is a big factor. I'm guessing, just like everything else.
Yeah, working hard, just you like actually. So a big thing he also said was like all these people that are successful in business, they're really anxious, which like we're anxious to grow, right? We're, we're anxious that we're not maximizing our value and our potential, and they just act on their anxiousness, and they remove that anxiety through action, right? So the main thing is like, yeah, just acting on everything that you know you should be doing, because we have a good understanding of what we should be doing. We A lot of us just don't act on it.
And like having the discipline to like endure that anxiety and stress that you put on yourself as a business
Yeah,
owner or like entrepreneur.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add to your experience?
No, that was about it.
Okay.
We could dive straight into chatbots and um so Sadra and I spoke about this a while back about how using the OpenAI API, there will be many businesses that try to build custom chatbots for companies. And this is much needed because current chatbots are not really able to. So, an optimal chatbot would take over the role of an online chat assistant, like a human chat assistant. Currently, they're not there, but with the OpenAI API, it's definitely 100% possible. And this model could be taken to the route of an agency building custom chatbots for businesses, but it could also be a software, like a drag and drop software that businesses can use to build custom chatbots that are able to actually solve problems and conversate naturally with customers. And that I feel like will be a huge industry, and whoever maximizes on that, well, I want to maximize on that,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think
whoever.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see how far you can take this because like you said, we do have chatbots already, but they're at their minimal efficiency where you can't really communicate properly. Do you think we could get to a point where like customer service for humans is gonna be obsolete, where it's just gonna be replaced by AI completely?
No, maybe like in like 10 years or something,
I agree.
as like voice assistants um yeah progress, but chat assistants could replace um virtual chat assistant, like human chat assistants. But I always want to be able to speak to a human. Like, it won't completely replace these jobs, but I feel like these jobs will just require higher quality people.
I
and
agree.
and yeah, so whenever someone requires an actual human, they should be able to solve that complex problem that the chatbot couldn't.
Yeah, I think we're like you said, we have to think a long term of this. It's not gonna be like something that's gonna happen like 2 years, maybe even three. Like I have a very long-term process about this. And usually that's what happens, right? With like new technologies. People get
Mhm.
excited and like in 1 year you're gonna have everything AI. Like, no, like these things take time. So we need innovators in this space.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think long term I'm very excited about what can happen with chatbots and for what they can do for companies.
yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, we
then
could.
you want to move to the next point?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So yeah, now a little shift more to the Web3 side. Basically, if you guys don't know NFTs, non-fungible tokens, we discussed them in our last podcast. They're basically like digital contracts, tickets, memberships, whatever. Rolling Loud, which is a festival I don't know much about. I just know they're a big festival that includes a lot of hip hop singers, artists in general, mostly rappers. They came out with their own NFTs, if I can pull it up here. Yeah, so basically it says that it's a lifetime VIP passes to all future Rolling Loud festivals. So it's not just a normal pass, it's also a VIP pass. So the collection is called LoudPunx. And
LoudPunx, okay.
LoudPunx holders, so people that buy the NFT, they're gonna receive global VIP entry into every festival ever. And they really like to emphasize that you get access to every single festival they have wherever in the world. They also get access to premium merchandise. So like whoever holds the NFT, they will get access to some merchandise drops and like collaborations that normal people won't get access to that don't have their NFTs. And yeah, other than that, I think they released like in January. And so what happened was that you can buy them from their website from 1.5 Ethereum, which was in January. So the price was a little fluctuated from now. And now they're selling on the secondary market. If you go on OpenSea, I think it's about 1.3, 1.4 Ethereum. So if you're thinking of an investment short term, people that bought into it really haven't made much profit at all. But I think if festivals keep going the way they're going now, I think long term this could really be seen as a success. Because like, how much are like tickets for a rolling like $2,000, $3,000?
Are they? I think they're a few $100s.
Oh,
Let me search it
really?
up quickly.
I thought that'd be more than that.
I think there are different tiers of tickets.
I see. But yeah, like I think it's a good idea to get into this Web3 space early. The
Mhm.
main thing me and you were talking about is like, are festivals gonna be that big of a thing when everything is getting digitized, like Web3 and AI?
Yeah, that would be interesting because as AI is like as we can see, AI is advancing so slowly. How quickly do you think that the metaverse will actually start being used for events? Like, I'm sure it happened in like Fortnite. The um, what's his name?
Travis Scott
Um,
or whatever.
Travis Scott. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's
Travis
very
Scott.
like that's very like simplistic, right? It's like in a game.
Yeah,
I think people are thinking about metaverse like it's gonna be like, have you seen Ready Player One?
yeah. I've heard of it. I haven't watched
Yeah,
the
it's
movie.
gonna be like that. Like you put on a small VR headset and you get immersed into this world like we have in our background,
Mm,
where you could just visit events. But yeah, you have a good point. We have seen stuff like that, like metaverse hold stuff. But I think the way people are thinking about it again, they're not thinking as long term as we are.
I see. Yeah, it could be interesting. I have no idea how. Like, let's think of a similar situation of old technology.
Sorry, my camera's just bugging out. Keep talking though. I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something similar to like if we could compare metaverse events to real life events, like some similar thing that we could compare, like something that used to be done in the past, but it's done really differently now.
I guess the the metaverse is like having everything done in a digital way, right? Like it's just a digital space. So I
Mhm.
think with COVID, I would say things like interviews or meetings for people who work from home, they are on technology now. They're not in person. So maybe that, in a sense, could be your answer.
True. Yeah, I guess remote working and yeah, I mean, within remote work, your camera's still a bit blurry, by the way.
Yeah, I
But
know. I'm trying to fix it.
yeah, it's better when you get closer. Yeah, it's good now. It's kind of good.
It's good.
But yeah, no, now it's blurry again.
Yeah. Fuck,
It gets
man.
fine for a second. But yeah, what I was saying was that like remote work somewhat has had a metaverse type of experience now, where in what's it called? Gather World. I don't know if you've used it before, but it's this like game type of environment where it's basically a virtual office that you could create a character for, and you as an employee just walk around to different spaces within that virtual office. So they have a kitchen, they have a meeting room, which when you walk into, it just puts you in a video meeting.
That's cool. Yeah. Are they a lot of
Like,
companies that were onboarding that technology?
I think it's small at the moment. It's in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, it's probably but much bigger, but I don't think it's that big yet.
I see. And do you think that I heard something interesting from Gary V? If I can just fix my camera. He said that like I think people are gonna miss the physical aspect of the world. So he doesn't think that everything will be digitalized because some things like you just can't replicate in the digital world.
Yeah. Yeah, one similar experience I did have is when I used to work on menu lists and people loved physical menus and they didn't even want to switch to a QR code just to have that restaurant experience. Like when you go to a restaurant, you just want to physically touch and see the menu, which
Yeah,
I understand. There are two sides to it. With menu lists, like it would be nice to actually see the items before you order through AR, right? But yeah, that's one example how
there we go.
people might, there you go. Yeah, people might want to, well, not all events have to be in the metaverse, right?
Facts. Yeah, like I don't mind like I think hopefully we don't get into like a state where we're constantly in the metaverse, right? Because I don't think my
Mhm.
body would just be able to handle that, like brushing my teeth in the
Yeah,
metaverse, like having a headset on like for 12 hours.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know why you would brush your teeth in the metaverse.
Yeah, like maybe you
Unless
have a
you
mansion in the metaverse and like you're poor in real life.
wait, so you need to like take care of your virtual metaverse character?
Yeah, that's what
Bruh,
like imagine
that's
you
so
have to
much fun.
yeah, that's too much work. But I mean
I
like
think,
I could see how people could try to escape from reality using the metaverse as an excuse.
yeah, that's gonna be an insane time though. Like right now, we live in a dopamine filled society,
Yeah.
and like our T levels are just dropping. Imagine at that time, like just gonna be like
It's gonna be
just gonna be
amazing, but it's
unhealthy
gonna be
kids.
horrible at the same time.
Yeah, probably rapid innovation, but everyone's gonna be unhealthy. The world's problems and the the wage gap and yeah, the wealth gap is just going to continue to increase.
True. Do you have anything else you want to add about like the tickets, the NFTs, and the metaverse?
No, I don't.
No? You want to move on to the next topic? I think our
Yeah,
final
let's do
topic.
it. Yep.
So this one, we're thinking of talking about deep fake technology. If you don't know what deep fake is, if you're on TikTok, you've probably seen it. Basically, it's in most cases, it's where you use a voice of a celebrity to kind of form your own sentences. So the celebrity says what you're typing. It's kind of text to speech, but it's using very AI advanced metrics so that whatever you type or whatever you say gets transformed into the voice of someone else. Now, before I let you speak, Marzook, actually, you can go ahead and state your opinion. I just want to say something about it. I'll say it after.
Okay. Yeah, so this is just basically neural networks being trained to be able to speak in the tone of this person that you want them to speak as. It also can create videos, images, and it's an interesting technology and could have its positive and negative effects on the world. Currently, mostly people think of really negative effects that it could have relating to fake news and hoaxes, bunch of weird stuff could be possible.
I mean, yeah, like I've definitely mostly for now I've seen trolling done. I haven't seen it been used on a professional scale. Maybe that's just the content I'm consuming. From what I
Mm,
gather, like you said, like the way it works in like semi-technical terms, that you need large amounts of voice data, and then you basically input that data into machine learning models or AI models, and then those models, they use deep learning. Deep learning is basically like a method that describes how AI processes data, but they try to process data like a human brain would process data. So it's not something everyone can just go on their computer and kind of create a deep fake voice. Like you need supercomputers, you need machine learning models, AI models, all that stuff. But yeah, like from what I've seen, it's just trolling, like people having fun, which is nice. But I'm curious to see how it's gonna develop in a professional business world.
yeah, I mean, our yeah, we might get some experience with deepfakes soon. I don't want to tease anything, but yeah, we might get some experience with deepfakes soon, and you
The-
guys might experience it too.
yeah, exactly. You'll see what we're talking about.
Mm,
So we have 10 minutes left for the podcast, which is fine. We can take your time. We don't have much else to cover. I did want to go over the benefits and drawbacks of the system. So obviously the drawbacks, from what we can tell, is just mostly trolling. Like you can prank people, you can have fun, but like you can also make celebrities say a lot of bad stuff that they usually wouldn't say. One of the interesting benefits that I saw was that there was this person that lost their voice, and it wasn't from birth. So they had the recordings of their voice, and they used those recordings to make a deep fake of his voice. So now he can still talk even though he lost his voice.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And with BCIs, like in like Neuralink, it could be possible for that person to just without having to. What does he do at the moment? Just text, and
Yeah,
then
they have he has like a screen he has to input into because he has to text. He can't talk,
mm,
where basically it gets transformed to his voice, and then from there it gets transmitted.
that would be cool. Yeah, yeah, it would be cool if like with Neuralink and other any other BCI where the person is just able to think about what they want to say, which they would how they would just naturally do when when they had a voice. And I don't know if the voice could possibly come out from a speaker on the side of their mouth, on the side of their face, under their chin, or
That would be
maybe
cool.
if possible, like something within their mouth, if that's possible. I'm
I
not
see
sure
what
if
you mean.
there's
Yeah.
technology for that.
Like
But yeah,
having
that would
chips implanted in your brain, and then whatever you think is just gonna appear in your, and then from the speakers in your mouth, they're just gonna transmit.
yeah.
What if you what if you hack the system and then you force the person to say to say things?
No, I mean I'm pretty sure the BCIs that they're building are protected.
True, true.
I hope so because like why else would they be testing it out? I'm pretty sure that they're testing Neuralinks out on actual human beings now.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it would need a lot of protection for me to come on board.
without security, I don't think that they would test it. If they are testing it without security, then yeah,
That's a
I have
valid point.
I have no hope for this world if they are.
It's a valid point.
But yeah,
I have one more thing I want to mention about this is it's a very minor issue, but like I saw it on Shark Tank where this software engineer student came up with a method. If you're on online calls or just online meetings, you can train an AI model to basically have a deep fake voice of you and your face, like you mentioned. And then when you combine those two, you don't even have to attend the meeting. It nods, it shows that you're there, and it responds to questions for you. So you don't even have to do anything.
damn. So what did he pitch? Like, was it an app that people could just drag and drop and make their own face?
Yeah, it's like an app on your computer that you download, and then from there,
Mm,
like you need to say certain sentences just for the AI model to input that into their database or whatever, how it works. And then I think you need to make certain like facial expressions so they can replicate that as well. Actually, his
Mhm.
pitch was pretty bad. I watched it and like he had a very early system where the thing was just you record your face and it just like nods and it just repeats that recording. It was very early development
Oh,
stages, but it's cool to see that like that's what we're going into soon.
yeah, that's really cool. Do you remember what it was called?
I can I don't think I do blur or something.
Blur. There's zoom back. No, zoom
Yeah.
deep fake. Zoom deep.
Oh, it's bull. I don't know how to say that. Buller, B-U Beulr.
Bueller. Pretty sure that's how you spell it.
Yes, yes,
I mean, sound it out.
Bueller.
Bueller. Yeah, it's cool. We'll add it to our podcast description on YouTube so you guys could check it out as well.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we'll add the links to all of the other stuff too. The rolling
All
loud
right.
and all of that.
I think we can wrap it up now, unless you want to talk about anything else.
No, I think I'm good. Good for this pod. All right. So just like last pod, we're gonna end the podcast with a quote. And this time it's my turn. So one of my favorite quotes is, "I don't know who said it. It could be Naval Ravikant or Ralph Waldo Emerson, Mahatma Gandhi, or Tony Robbins. Just one of them." That's what ChatGPT told me. I searched Google and it did not. It wasn't able to tell me who said it,
Bro,
but ChatGPT had some idea. But the quote is, "Working for rewards is a trap of modern times, and the work itself should be the reward."
true. I like that. I like that. Kind of like enjoy the journey kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, do you also want to conclude the podcast, Marzooq?
Go for it.
All right. So yeah, successful podcast number 2. Uh, we will upload the podcast by the time this is up, the first one. We just had some editing issues, so that will be up. Other than that, I think we had a good time talking about AI, deepfakes, NFTs, Marzook's experience at a business event. And yeah, we will catch you guys next week for another episode.
See you soon.
Peace.
Bye.